violators. If violators are not good neighbors, that's what triggers a complaint. So that's what they said when I asked what will happen if 2F passes. How would you respond to that? You got about a minute.
I don't know about your listeners, whether anyone here has ever had an issue with a neighbor who maybe didn't get along. Neighbors call on neighbors, and if 2F passes, people will be investigated. They will have to prove if they're related or not, which is an invasion of their privacy, and people will lose their housing. New households won't form. They will be either, stuck with too high of housing costs or unable to stay near their jobs. Workers like teachers, grocery store workers, those restaurant and hospitality workers who've been hit so hard for this pandemic will have fewer housing options right when they need them the most. That is not the kind of city, I think, that the voters of Denver want to live in. The other thing that will happen is the city will have fewer options to use our existing shelters. It will be harder to build transitional housing, and it will be harder. This is really important. The same dark money, there is a lot of dark money behind this particular repeal measure, 2F. That same dark money is behind Initiative 303 and 304, and I just want to put together what it means. If 2F passes, it takes away housing options, and it makes it harder to do transitional housing and other solutions for homelessness. If 304 passes on the Denver ballot, it will cut funding for housing, it will cut funding for homelessness and mental health. And if 303 passes, it will then make the city's taxpayers, you, the taxpayers of Denver, liable for any homeless encampment that we can't clean up fast enough to anybody who sues us. The same dark money is funding all three of these measures. Think about that for a moment in terms of the impact that it will have on our city. That's why it's so important to vote no on 2F as well as 303 and 304, because we can't afford to lose these housing options now. Thank you.
All right, Councilwoman Robert Kinich, I want to thank you for coming on KGNU. This has been It's the Economy. I'm Jonathan Flowers.